Tom coming?
Not that I have, he's in Florida. Oh, you didn't tell me. I'm positive he's in Florida because his wife is. Kids.
Doesn't mean he has to go.
That's true. That's what I said. I'm assuming, but I know the wife and kids are. My daughter wanted a play date, and she's like, "We'd love to, but we're in Florida." I went, "That sounds better."
All right, we ready? All right, it's 7 o'clock, so I'm going to call the Tuesday, March 16th Common Council meeting to order. Elissa, will you please take the roll?
Cash. Went.
Here.
Britton.
Here.
Bartz.
Here.
Holthouse.
Here.
Wagner.
Here.
Schmidt.
Here.
Wetzel.
Here.
Kilps.
Thank you. And if you all would please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. The first item is minutes from the council meeting of March 2nd. Does anyone have any questions or comments on any of those minutes? All right, seeing none, we will go to comments and suggestions from citizens present. I have 3 here. If you would please just come to the microphone and state your name and address. And the first person is David Schrader.
Good evening, David Schrader, N8883 County Road E, Watertown. I'm here tonight to speak in favor of TID 8 as the owner or managing partner for both the property owners of the Firehouse Lanes and Johnsonville, the former Johnsonville site. I can tell you that getting the pro formas and the finances to work out on those types of properties to rehabilitate them and turn them into something better for the city of Watertown is tight. It's tight because of the market rates, it's tight because of construction costs, and it requires as much help that we can get. And but for the existence of a TID, they even become more difficult. So I strongly encourage this council to vote in favor of the proposal for TID 8. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Dan Rayfeld.
Hello, thank you for letting me speak. Dan Rayfelt, Country Club Lane. I also own property within the TID district. When I received the letter, I admitted I didn't really know everything there was about TIDs and TIFs, and so I did quite a bit of research on it, followed up on a lot of them amongst other communities, and really couldn't find a downside. My natural concern was that it would affect me negatively as a property owner from a financial standpoint in some way. And the more that I read about it, the more that I saw is that there's very little downside compared to just a huge upside to what it can do for our community from a development standpoint. And so I wanted to come tonight to voice my support for the TID and encourage everybody, all the alderperson, also to vote for their support as well. I just think it's a really, really good thing for us to do to generate additional income for the years to come for our city so we can do what we need to do. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then Nate Salas.
Evening, everybody. Nate Salas, 821 Pheasant Run. I'm here as Vice Chair of Redevelopment Authority. It's been, I think, a really good opportunity for me to be involved in the community when we formed the RDA with John David, and we had a couple of members here tonight that are part of the RDA as well. When we came together those years ago, the town square was certainly one of the driving forces. It was a catalyst. Also around, same thing with the library project, being a part of that. But bigger than that was we wanted to talk about how do we improve the values of properties? How do we grow the community? How do we make it more attractive to investment, not just from outside investors, but also internally? And we talked about a measure of success would certainly be having people from our own community wanting to invest in downtown buildings and revitalize them and bring them back to life and help build a vibrant community, that fabric knitted together downtown. And TID 8's a big part of that. And before I say anything more about TID 8 specifically, I'm going to go back to that downtown investment from current owners and current community members. Over the last handful of years, through hard work of many different organizations, Main Street Program, Chamber, the changes the city's been leading. And we've seen about 12 or 15 private properties change hands, over $1 million being invested. I'm sure if you've driven down on Main Street, you've noticed properties that had been dormant are starting to come back to life. You're seeing properties being maintained and managed and taken care of, and you're seeing pride. Those things don't happen by chance. I know sometimes we get busy and we don't always notice, but they happen for efforts. And they happen because we collectively as a community have decided that we want to move forward and we want to create opportunities to build our community around a downtown and have a feature that attracts people to come here and stay here and give them that choice. Today's a big part of that. We've had many developers talking about different projects, but we have one very specific right now, and it would be significant. The properties we purchased on the town square, we purchased that town square, again, to be a catalyst. A lot of people have asked and got upset initially that we were taking money off the tax rolls. The properties we purchased contribute about $24,000 a year in taxes. The project we're looking at right now was about 10 times that. That's just one project. And we've got many of properties in our downtown, especially in this TID 8, that are ripe for redevelopment. And it's not, again, just from outside people, it's internally. You just heard two gentlemen speak from Watertown that own properties here. They want to continue to invest and put their money at risk. And it is risky. And people ask, well, why are we incentivizing? Right now, what we're asking for is to have the opportunity to incentivize. Creating a TID 8 doesn't force us to have to incentivize, but it gives us the tools to do it. So when we look at the tools to do it, every project will be different. And that's what TIF turns into, tax incremental financing. Some of these opportunities will be structured differently. But any property and any opportunity going forward is going to come back in front of a decision-making body. There's transparency and there's checks and balances. So as Mr. Rayfeld pointed out, there really is no downside. You know, I was trying to think about what I could equate this to. And the only thing I can think about is when you start a new job, some jobs offer you life insurance. It doesn't cost you anything, and if something were to happen while you're employed, your family gets the life insurance. It'd be like you turning that down. No, I don't need that. There's no cost. All it does is give us opportunity going forward, gives us opportunity to further discuss, to further customize a solution, and makes decisions. And I would think over time, we'd make very good decisions based on the demand we're seeing right now. Other people ask, well, why do we need the TID district? Well, people are asking, should I do a project in Watertown or should I just not do a project at all? We got developers saying, do I pick Watertown or do I pick a neighboring community? Other communities, in case you aren't aware, might have lower utility costs, the way they're structured. Communities are giving away free land. Other communities are using TIF districts. Waterloo uses TIF. Beaver Dam uses TIF. Oconomowoc uses TIF. Brookfield uses TIF. So this is not unique to Watertown. This is anything that's going to circumvent finances. But if anything, it's going to show growth. And I'm sure you guys have all seen the presentation. If not, I know Scott's going to walk you through the tremendous growth our previous districts have seen, what that's meant to the community's bottom line. But ultimately, this sends a message. And unfortunately, it is that black and white. If we as a community say, no, we're not going to create another TID district based on demand from private investors, because that's what's driving a big part of this, is we've got private demand, then we're saying we're not open for business. And that, to me, would be a really sad statement given all the work many community members, many organizations have invested, and how much time and money they've spent to kind of drive us forward as a community. So tonight's vote is about, yeah, we're open to that tool. We need to explore it. We need to be judicious with it. We need to be smart about it. But at the end of the day, we need to make sure we keep options open so we continue to grow. And we support local people, like the gentleman that already spoke, and hopefully continue to incentivize them and work with them to want to invest in our community. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. We do have an opportunity at the end of the meeting as well, if anyone would like to comment then. The next item then is public hearings. Oh, Alyssa Tom has joined for the minute. We do not have a public hearing, so we have committee reports. We have the Finance Committee for March 2nd and 8th, Plan Commission for March 8th, Public Works Commission from February 23rd and March 9th, and then Public Safety and Welfare for March 3rd. Anyone have any questions or comments on any of those minutes? All right, we have no old business, so let's go to communications and recommendations. We do have one employee for employee recognition, and that's Jill Pettig from the police department. I do believe she's in dispatch, and she's been with us for 20 years, so we thank Jill for her service. The next item then is committee appointments. Those are in your packet for your consideration of approval. Is there a motion on those?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the appointments that is listed.
Thank you. Motion by Ritten.
Second by Wagner.
Second by Wagner. Any questions or comments on those? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Be around tonight. Anybody opposed? All right. Next is just the reminder that the Common Council meeting on Tuesday, April 6th is moved to April 5th because of the election. And then we have the COVID-19 update for this evening. I am your presenter for this evening, so let me just have a second. If you are, if you could please mute your mics. Thanks. All right. All right, so our data for this week on vaccines, as you can see up there, we're just shy of 2,000 first doses. We are just over 1,000 second doses for a total of just over 3,000. We're continuing to work with our local providers to provide additional opportunities for vaccination in our community. We still are just doing the Moderna vaccine as of this week anyway. What you see here, the frequency of vaccine side effects, this was something that was asked for at the last meeting. I'm not going to read all these to you, but what I would draw your attention to is the top few are the ones we're hearing them obviously the most. Statistically, that would make sense. But we have had experiences of people across the board with these. So I can't answer any specific questions on these or how, if we're seeing them in particular age demographics or anything like that. But if you do have questions, I know that Carol would be happy to answer those. There are new groups eligible for the vaccine starting March 29th, and those actually just changed today. Last week, there was a different date, and we updated it. I see in the text, but not in the title. So beginning March 22nd, people age 16 and older with certain medical conditions will be eligible for the vaccine. This also includes people who are at increased risk of severe illness, and the specificity of that list is very detailed. So if you're looking to gauge if you have any of those medical conditions or know someone that does, I would encourage you to go to the DHS website for more specifics. I'm also not going to read this one to you, but this is the guidance that we did post on our city Facebook page about if you're fully vaccinated. So there are categories for if you're fully vaccinated and with someone who's also fully vaccinated, if you're vaccinated and with people who are unvaccinated. And then there are also qualifications for people to consider for people who are immune compromised in either of those situations. And then last is refraining from quarantine and testing after a known exposure if you're asymptomatic and fully vaccinated. So again, more detail on this is on our city website and our city Facebook page. Our local case numbers, you'll see here, we're just over 14,000 total case investigations, 11,445 were not a case. We had 2,543 confirmed, and then 2,513 resolved. We have 30 active cases right now, and we are at 41 deaths. Our percent hospitalized has remained fairly stable. It's been right around this 3.8% for a couple of months. And then you see our probable and suspect case numbers there as well. This is the presentation that provides it by age. You're not going to see anything new here. Let me just make sure they can still hear me. Alderperson Pash isn't hearing. Rose, can you hear me? Okay. Ms. Rose, can you please type back to Mr. Pash that it might just be him? No real changes here. Same age groups that we've presented to week over week of our cases based on age. Okay, that is all that Carol provided. I have just 2 or 3 items. We, after consultation with Council President Ritten, will be opening the city offices and buildings next week. So right now we've been closed Tuesday and Thursday, so those will open completely next week. I did use the emergency declaration to go around a component of the handbook, which was about vacation carryover. We've had some staff that just couldn't take off at certain points of the year. So as long as they have a reasonable amount of vacation and a plan to use it, I've been approving those. So traditionally, that would not be allowed. So I have used it for that. And then the nice piece of information to share with you is we have some idea of what our COVID-19 relief package from the federal government will look like. So the federal package allocated $130 billion for local governments. 45 billion of that went to metropolitan cities, 19 billion went to towns. The long and short of it is based on the estimations now. So the Biden administration is still working through final calculations and methodology for how the allocations will go out. But what we know now is that as a community, we'd be looking at about $2.3 million. The uses for that are kind of wide-ranging, so we have to use it by December 31st, 2024. I've heard some indications that we'll get it in 2 allocations, so part of it and then part of it. We can potentially use it for providing aid to households and small businesses or nonprofits, or to aid impacted industries like tourism, hospitality, and travel, for funding government services that were curtailed as a result of decrease in revenue, which you all know we did do some of that, making necessary investments in water, sewer, or broadband infrastructure. I am going to be on a phone call with a National League of Cities representative who crafted this legislation with the federal government on Friday. So I expect to have more information to be able to share with you all at the next meeting. But the long and short of it is we're looking at about 2.3 million is our best estimate at this time. Any questions on any of those items? Okay. Then let's move on. We have no new business. I would take a motion on the accounts payable.
I'll make a,
Motion by Wetzel,
I'll second.
second by Wendt. Questions on the accounts? All right, Elissa.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Hill, Cash,
I can see him trying to talk.
Aye.
Oh, there we go.
Do you hear me?
Yes, we could.
Wen,
Aye.
Witten,
Abstain.
Hart,
I think that was an aye.
Colthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Great. Next is reports and miscellaneous business. You have the cash and investment summary from February 28th, licensing board from March 10th, the Main Street program from January 19th and February 16th, Police and Fire Commission from January 11th, the payroll summary of February 10th and February 23rd, the reserve balances from February 28th, site plan review of March 8th, and Tourism Commission of February 11th. Anybody have any comments on any of those minutes? All right, very good. Let's go to licenses then. We have a few to consider this evening. The first is a temporary Class B malt license for the Chamber of Commerce 100th anniversary. This will be at 611 East Main Street on June 26th from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Is there a motion on that one?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by what, motion,
Second by Wagner.
second by Wagner.
Good.
Any questions on this one? Are you fine with voice, right? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Oh, I want to just clarify. Sorry, Mr. Pash, I called for opposed before you voted. So what was your vote in favor?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay,
In
thank you.
favor.
All right, our next item then is to review and take action on temporary Class B malt licenses for the Main Street program for Beach Party Bingo. This is a summer series that they're going to be hosting in the First Street parking lot. You see the dates of June 3rd, July 1st, and August 5th, and then there's correlating rain dates associated with those from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
Thank you. Motion by Holthaus,
Second by Wagner.
second by Wagner. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? All right, very good. Our next then is to review and take action on a temporary Class B wine license for the Chamber of Commerce. This is for the Whiskey and Wine Walk event. Whiskey will only be available at businesses with existing Class B liquor licenses. The temporary license locations are listed there for you: 110, 113, 209, 212, 217, 300, 401, and 618, all on East Main. This is on May 1st from 1 to 4:30 p.m.
Wagner, I'll move to approve.
Motion by Wagner,
I'll second.
second by Wendt. Any comments or questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? All right, next is to review and take action on an application for a temporary premise amendment to include the parking lot for the semi-annual Bakes Tournament at Run and Errands. This is at 700 North 4th Street on April 17th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Wendt,
I'll second that.
second by Written. Commentary? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? All right, and our last one then is to review and take action on the application for a permanent premises amendment to include the space at 1020 North 4th at Riverview Water Trap at 1022 North 4th Street.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Wendt,
I'll second again.
second by Written. Comments or questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? All right, let's go to ordinances then. The first is ordinance 21-16. This is to amend Chapter 7, Administrative Organizations, Chapter 7-1, City Departments of the City of Watertown Code. This is here from me and the Finance Committee on the second reading.
Written, I'll move to approve ordinance 21-16 on its second reading.
Motion by Written,
This is Wagner, I'll second.
second by Wagner. Questions or comments? Elissa?
Britton,
Aye.
Bartz,
Aye.
Holthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
𝘗ps,
Aye.
Cash,
Pat.
Alderperson Cash,
Alderperson Pash? All right, we'll just make a note that he wasn't present.
Wendt,
Oh, wait, sorry about that. Go ahead.
Aye.
Alderperson Pash, would you like to vote on that one?
Yeah. Yeah. Aye.
Thank you.
Forgive me. I'm having technical problems. Thank you.
Okay. Next then is ordinance 21-17. This is to repeal and recreate Chapter 80 Fire Department of the City of Watertown General Ordinances. This is here from Alderman Schmidt in Public Safety on the first reading.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2117, first reading.
Motion by Wendt,
I'll second Schmidt.
second by Schmidt. Any comments or questions?
Can I just have a brief summary by the chief?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. What we did is I was going through and looking at how our organizational was and made some changes to titles, and when doing that, I was going to update our ordinance, and while I was looking at it, I looked at the DSPS on what they had for their, what is required to ensure for legal fire department in the state of Wisconsin, and going through that, I saw that some of the things were missing, and that the language is antiquated or outdated, so it's trying to making sure that every little piece was in there that was required. So in talking with city attorney, 80 it was just easier to repeal 80 and rewrite it with the information we needed, and we actually took some items out of the next ordinance to put into fire department. So it's updating it to reflect on current state statutes and recommendations by DSPS.
Thanks, chief.
Any other questions? Elissa?
Wendt,
Aye.
Britton,
Aye.
Holthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
𝘗ps,
Aye.
Cash,
Aye.
All right, Thank you. Next is ordinance 21-18. This is to repeal and recreate sections of Chapter 303, Fire and Fire Prevention of our City of Watertown General Code of Ordinances. Alderman Schmidt, Public Safety, on the first reading.
Wetzel, I'll move for 2118.
Motion by Wetzel,
I'll second Schmid.
second by Schmidt. Any questions or comments on this one? All right, Alyssa.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Pilks,
Aye.
Cash, Pat,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Britton,
Aye.
Bart,
Aye.
Holthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
All right. Next is Exhibit 9182. This is a resolution to update the 2021 payroll resolution to adjust the position of the Media and Communications Director. It's here from me and the Finance Committee.
I'll move for approval of resolution exhibit 9182.
Motion by Ritten.
I'll
Second.
second.
Ooh, so many at once. I saw Wetzel first. Second by Wetzel. Does anyone have any questions on this one? You want to roll, Alyssa? Okay, go for it.
Britton,
Aye.
Bart,
Aye.
House, Holthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt,
No.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Pilks,
No.
Cash,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
7-2, motion carries.
Okay. Next, then, is Exhibit 9183. This is a resolution to amend the 2021 budget to transfer $16,300 from our Information Technology Health Insurance line to the Watertown TV Media Department wage and benefit accounts. This is here from me and the Finance Committee.
I'll move for approval exhibit 9183.
Motion by Ritten,
Second by Wagner.
second by Wagner. Any questions on this one? Alyssa?
Aye.
Bart,
Aye.
Holthouse, Holthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Kilps,
I don't see her anymore.
Cash,
Aye.
There we go.
Went,
Aye.
Thank you. All right, next is Exhibit 9184. This is a resolution to reclassify the Administrative Assistant 2 position to Office Manager for the Street and Solid Waste Department, and then update the 2021 payroll resolution. Here from me and the Finance Committee.
Cash, I'll move to approve.
Motion by Pash.
Second.
Ooh, sorry, you guys. I prefer more than not enough, so thank you. Any questions, comments?
Question. It says two. Is there two administrative assistants?
Nope, there's different levels of classifications in the administrative
Sure.
assistant job position. I probably used the wrong terminology there, but essentially there's an admin 1, an admin 2. Is there 3? So it's just the level.
Thank you.
So is this simply a title change, or is this going to be a responsibility change going to an office manager title?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Is this going to be more than just a title change, or is this a responsibility change going from administrative assistant to office manager?
Responsibility change.
So essentially, it's like a promotion, changing the position from assistant to supervisor at a lower level.
Yes.
Okay. How many people would be under them from a supervisory standpoint?
So the street superintendent is going to be over this position. And then the street department has about 33 employees. 6 of them are in solid waste, and there is a lead there.
So, I meant for the office manager position, how many people are going to be directly under them that they're going to be supervising or overseeing?
I don't know that, I don't know that Jason is on the meeting. I don't have the job description in front of me to be able to answer that question accurately, but I can follow up with you on that one. I apologize, Mr. Schmidt, I just don't know that answer, I don't want to be wrong.
Nope, that's fine. I got some weird questions once in a while.
That's okay. All right, so how many direct reports? I'll follow up with you on that tomorrow.
All right.
Any other questions? Elissa?
Pash. Alderperson Pash.
Aye.
Went.
Aye.
Aye.
We got you, Tom.
Witten.
Aye.
You there?
Yep, we got you. When this is all said and done, we need to give out an award for the most impressive virtual, and it has to be Tom. I mean, every time, it's something. Please continue, Alyssa.
Bartz. Alderperson Bartz.
Aye.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Holthouse.
Aye.
Wagner.
Aye.
Schmidt.
No.
Wetzel.
Aye.
Kilps.
No.
7-2.
All right. Next is Exhibit 9185. This is a resolution to amend the City of Watertown Employee Handbook of Policies and Procedures to include a sick leave donation policy. This is here from me and the Finance Committee.
I'll move to approve Exhibit 9185.
Motion by
I'll second.
Written, second by Wetzel. Does anyone have any questions on this one? Yes.
We've not had anything like this before.
Not that I know of, Elissa.
Really? I'm surprised. Wow.
No. And this has been a couple of months in the making, so the fire department did a lot of work on this, the clerk did, the city attorney did, and then we ran it through the whole leadership team and then the finance committee as well. So it's been well considered. But I agree, I had a similar reaction. Any other questions?
So it's just a question. So they couldn't do this before willingly?
Correct,
There was no mechanism in place for it?
correct.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions? You want to roll on that one? Go for it.
Britton.
Aye.
Bartz.
Aye.
Holthouse.
Aye.
Wagner.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Wetzel.
Aye.
Kilps.
Aye.
Pash. Alderperson Pash.
Mr. Pash? All right.
Went.
Aye.
All right. Very good. Let's go to Exhibit 9186. Ooh. I'm sorry, Mr. Pash.
This is Pash. Aye.
Okay. I heard an I. Did you all?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go with that.
So that carries.
Get killed. How they get strangled.
Yeah,
Get killed.
You know, I appreciate it. Okay, Mr. Pash, I'm going to mute you now, though. Okay. All right, so that was 9185, and that carried. Let's go to 9186, which is a resolution to adopt an updated purchasing policy for the city of Watertown. This is here from me and the Finance Committee.
I will move for 9186.
Thank you. Motion by Wetzel,
I'll second that.
second by Written. Questions for anyone? Comments?
Yeah, can you go through some of the key changes from the previous one to the new one?
Did you bring that memo? Sure, Alyssa's going to pull that up. Does anyone, Ash, while she is doing that, so we don't all stare at her, does anyone have any other questions that I can try to answer? Go
Just a comment, this is updating a policy that's 24 years old, so there's bound to be some things that need updating, streamlining, and this will do that.
Any other questions or comments before we get to your answers? We'll give Alyssa just a second to update that.
Okay. One of the largest changes is The current policy, if an expense is within budget and it's over $5,000, it has to go to a committee. If it's over $10,000, it has to go to committee and council. This makes a change to those thresholds. Those thresholds haven't been changed in 20-plus years, and gives the department heads a little more leeway as long as they are within budget. The department head has authorization to 10,000. Department head combined with mayor approval is between 10 and, for purchases between 10 and 50,000. Over 50,000 would still have to go to committee, and those would only go all the way to council if it required a budget amendment or if it was an unbudgeted expense. The council will still approve payables at each meeting. It made no changes to the taxpayer benefit policy that was adopted in 2017. It also added some guidance around the sale of surplus property, signing of contracts, grants and grant applications. So Finance Committee approval would not be required anymore unless there is a match required to obtain the grant funds. It also addresses donations and thresholds for department heads accepting donations. And we also included some language that we were missing that relates to purchases and procurements that are covered by federal and state grant funds.
Any others?
The purchasing limits for unbudgeted expenses, unbudgeted always has to go to committee and council if a budget amendment is needed. But this basically takes most of the work out of the continuous cycle of resolution after resolution for all the purchases, except for the very large purchases, and really puts the work in the budget process.
And it keeps us from having, like, this next item is a grant application that has no commitment from the city for funds. So those wouldn't keep coming here, which would be an easy change. Any other questions or comments? All right, Elissa?
Wetzel?
Aye.
Kilps?
No.
Pash?
Aye.
Went?
Aye.
Written?
Aye.
Barth?
Aye.
Is that a nay?
Was that a yes or a no, Mr. Bartz?
That's a yes.
Thank you.
Holthouse?
Aye.
Wagner?
Aye.
Schmid?
No.
7-2.
Okay, very good, thank you. Our next item then is Exhibit 9187. This is a resolution to apply for and accept the 2021 AARP grant application for the Community Challenge. This is here from me and the Finance Committee.
This is Wagner. I'll move to approve.
Thank you. Motion by Wagner,
I second that.
second by Wetzel. Any questions on this one?
Question, Mayor.
Yes.
Have we received this before, and for what have we used it? And if it's a lot to remember, don't worry.
No, that's why they're here.
Oh, there.
Hi,
There you go.
we have never applied for this one. We applied for a different ARP grant. We did not receive that one, but that one's a monthly one, and this one is a once-a-year grant, and we've never applied for it before, that I'm aware of.
Okay, good, thank you. Good to see something new.
Yeah, and, I would say the grant application process has gone up tenfold since I was on, like, when I first started the council. I feel like there's a lot more that we solicit and try to obtain, so it's good to see.
Good.
Any other questions or comments? Are we okay with a voice on this one? right, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, very good. Let's go next then to Exhibit 9188. This is the resolution to accept the donation of 1401 Eastgate Drive into the city from John and Patricia Becker Trust and authorizing the public dedication and use thereof. This is from me and both the Plan Commission and the Finance Committee.
I'll make a motion to approve 9188.
Thank you. Motion by
I'll
Wentz,
second that.
second by Ritten. Anyone have questions or comments on this one?
Just the intended land use if it gets with the donation to the city, is it meant for a park or something?
Is this wetlands? Jacob's headed to the microphone, yeah.
The vast majority, especially 1401, is completely wetlands. The other unaddressed parcel has access issues from the 19 bypass. The DOT won't give them access, so it's a landlocked parcel that's undevelopable, and the other parcel has, and that parcel also has floodplain as well as wetland on it. And then the other portion of it, it's a weird parcel because it's split by 19, so it looks like there's 4 parcels, but it's only 2. But the other one also has wetland and floodplain issues as well. So they're both pretty much undevelopable parcels that we just use for credits for our stormwater.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions? You want roll? Okay, go ahead.
Wentz,
Aye.
Ritten,
Aye.
Bartz,
Aye.
is that it?
Mr. Bartz, was that a yes?
Yes.
Thank you.
Colthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmid,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Pilps,
Aye.
Pash,
Aye.
I was just about to say that Mr. Bartz is competing for Mr. Pash's award, but Tom comes back. All right.
Yeah, I'm definitely winning that.
All right, let's go to then Exhibit 9189. This is a resolution approving the tax incremental district number 8. This is here from me and the Plan Commission.
I'll make a motion to approve 9189.
Thank you. Motion by Went,
I'll second that.
second by Ritten. Okay, before I open it up for discussion, there is a ton of information in your packets. Scott Harrington and Ben Rohr are both here from Vanderbilt. There is a presentation that's in your packets. They can answer any questions. I want you to be able to answer or ask questions that you may have. I didn't intend to have them run through the presentation because we've provided it. So if it feels like we need to do that, we can. Otherwise, they're here to answer any questions that you all may have. So with that, questions, comments?
I do have a question.
Sure.
So how does this impact our current small businesses that fall in the TID 8 geographic area?
So I'll provide a short answer, and then I'll come to you, Scott. I would say it provides them an option and opportunity to, if necessary or if desired, improve their property, or if they're looking to sell their property. I think it also opens us up to development, which brings people to the downtown. This TID in particular will make the development deal on the 100 block possible. And that's the potentiality of 75 units filled with people 24/7 frequenting our businesses downtown. I think that carries its weight many times over. Mr. Harrington, I'll go to you for the professional answer.
Well, that was a pretty good one. Every property in the district would be eligible to seek some form of assistance. The council will decide whether they want to provide assistance and for how much on a case-by-case basis. But every business and every property owner would be eligible.
Okay, a follow-up to that, I don't know if this is going to be a Rose question or a more technical question. Given the lion's share of the revenue going to the school district, is there any way as a city we can pull some of that back to put back into the community, into infrastructure and to that specific area?
Scott, why don't you take go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understood the question. So, the way TIP works is that there's a base value established when the district is created. What are all the properties worth today? And the taxing jurisdictions, the school, county, the city, community college, continue to receive tax revenues off that base value. For the growth in value, all those tax dollars are directed to the TIF. And so those tax dollars are a function of what is the school levying, what is the community college, what is the city. So the tax rate is the same, and it's the combined rate, but the only difference with the TIF is where does the money go. And so the taxes on that increase in valuation go to the city. So that would include the school district's portion and the community college's portion. So I'm not sure I fully understood your question, but perhaps that answered it.
Well, I think I should rephrase it. The question I had was, are we able to shrink their portion and increase ours to pour back into it specifically, or do we not have the authority to pull money away from their percentage of the taxes?
Rose?
You do not have that authority. The tax rate remains the same as set by each jurisdiction. But like I said, it's just a function of where the revenue goes. It does not impact the tax rate.
Okay, so this would be a question for Rose. Then we as a governing body are subject to the school's whims and wishes on their tax rate for the city, in other words, since they have the lion's share of it?
Alderperson Schmidt, are you asking how do we as a city make the district whole? Are you questioning how we can compromise with the district? Is that where you're going with this?
Yeah, I'm going with the property taxes specifically. The school district seems to get the lion's share of it, and we as a city get what's left. How do we keep the property tax collectively as the same rate, but we get more and they get less? Because it seems more and more that we're having to work off less and less, but we're still expected to produce a better product.
Go ahead.
That's the biggest complaint I get from my residents, is that issue right there, including business owners.
Hey, Alderman Schmidt, this is Alderman Ritten. My understanding on taxing authorities is the city is a taxing authority, tech school is a taxing authority, school district is a taxing authority, county is a taxing authority. They all have the authority to set their own revenue. And us as a city, we get the job of collecting it all in one single bill, and then we divvy that out. So we don't have the authority to raise or lower any other district or taxing authority their
mill rate.
Their mill rate, thank you. And same could be for, there's different districts. There's drainage districts across the state. We don't have any of those here. There's probably half a dozen different other types of districts or taxing authorities that have the ability to tax their population. But yeah, these four are what we in Watertown have to live with, and us as a city have no authority over the other districts.
Okay, just wanted to confirm that.
Any other questions?
I have a question. I know that the city needs to reevaluate everyone's home. How will this affect them? Are they just going to reevaluate when they're done with the TID, or?
Good question. So Scott, the question is, how does this TID creation work with the reval? We will be doing a full reval starting at the end of this year and then going into next.
It shouldn't make any difference. If you're doing a citywide reval, that would include the property in the TIF, and they would be reevaluated the same way everybody else would.
So that base rate that we talk about, that you see on some of those graphs, that base rate would be dictated by the reval.
Right, the base value will be locked in for the life of the district. So if the reval lowers values, the base rate stays the same. If the reval raises value, the base rate stays the same. I shouldn't call it a rate. It's a base value. That will stay the same regardless of what happens with the reval. So if values go up, the TIF might get a little bit of a windfall because values went up, and the TIF is the one that benefits from the increase in valuation. But likewise, if the valuations go down, then the TIF suffers as a result of that.
Other questions or comments? Mr. Ritten?
Thanks. I'll just make a couple comments. With my job in the engineering industry for the last 20 years, we work closely with many different planners, planner groups, planner companies, and tax incremental districts are nothing new. They've been around for a while, and many municipalities all over Wisconsin use this tool to their advantage. I can see no downside to passing this at all. And this is actually critical in our case because we have a developer lined up just south of the new town square parcel that we're just hammering out the developer's agreement, and this is a vital part of that, is passing this. It just assists them to bring their money and their power here to develop property. And with all the properties we've included in this district, it just opens up so many more opportunities. I challenge anyone to show me any negative or downside to this. I'm in full support, and I really implore everyone else to support this too, or if they have any questions, let's answer them now, because we got the resources on the phone to do it, and I'd hate to have to table this for later or delay this. I want to show the developer that's really interested in our city that we're willing to do what we need to do and put tools in place that we need to make things happen.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That developer's agreement just got delivered today, actually.
Awesome.
Other questions or comments?
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Wetzel.
Every TID is supposed to basically fund itself. And this one now, TID 8 is going down to, what of a better term, help TID 5. TID 5 did not produce as we had hoped. I have reason why. I wonder if you could explain why TID
Yeah, so-
5 did not do as well as we had hoped.
So if we closed, and Alyssa, stop me, and Scott, you too, but if we closed TID 5, let's say we fast forward time and we were to close it today, we'd be able to pay our debts. We would maybe finish with a small amount in the black. When TID 5 was created, it was created in the early 2000s. We all know what happened in 2008 and the economic recession that we suffered. So because TIDs have this time limit, literally a time limit on them, you have to be really strategic about when you start them because that clock ticks. And we lost a chunk of that time. So what we're doing, and with the years we have left, like it's 27 years, I think we have 12 years left or 13. The last 5 of those years, I believe, and Scott stopped me, you can basically just pay your administration and your debt. You can't start any new deals. So that leaves us with 7 years to make any type of deal with any developer to incentivize development. And 7 years is maybe what was happening when the economy was running high, maybe. I mean, 10 is really the floor that I've seen. So what TID 8 will do is allow us, in a lot of cases, we didn't fully overlap TID 5, and we were purposeful about that. We weren't going to include projects or parcels that we weren't seeing on the horizon. But what it will do on the ones that we are overlapping is it restarts that clock. It gives us the best opportunity to have a long-lasting deal in this instance. So it's not that TID 5 was a failure, it just didn't perform or has yet to perform to the projected level. Does that answer your question?
Thank you. I would say big thing was 2008.
Yeah,
I experienced 2009, spring of 2009, I got downsized.
Yeah.
And I understand that. And my other thought is losing out of my head, but
Can I add one thing to that? Because it's, I think, a really important point. And I think I completely agree with what the mayor said, so I'm adding to that. And that is that I think the city has learned with TID 5 that creating a TIF isn't enough. Just because you have a district doesn't mean money falls out of the sky and developers appear out of nowhere. You have to work the TIF. And I think the city realized that when they created the redevelopment authority now, 3 or 4 years ago, that somebody needs to be in charge of making things happen. And so I think with TID 5, there's a little bit of, adopt it, and there's a lot of excitement at the time it was created, but city got distracted with other things, and things didn't happen. And since the redevelopment authority was created, and they've really been focused on the downtown, there's a long litany of things that have happened as a result. And I think with the redevelopment authority in place, we're now creating TID 8. You've got the momentum, and you understand what it takes to actually use this tool and work it to your advantage. So I think that's another really important aspect of why TID 5 maybe hasn't performed as well versus what we expect with TID 8 going forward.
Thank you.
And there are projects listed in our packet. We are not tied to those. We can do what we need to do and
Good
how we want to
question.
go without that, yes.
Yeah, so in the TID plan, you're going to see a few pages of projects, infrastructure projects, improvements. None of those are committed to. Those would go through the usual chain that any of our projects go through. They'll go to the board and the committee that they need to. What that allows us to do is to have an opportunity to potentially, if the TID is really healthy, reimburse our general fund, Fund 5, for those infrastructure costs. We are planning those in our 5-year capital plan, so we're not just putting them here and, crossing our fingers and hoping they happen. The ones that we can afford to build into the 5-year capital plan, we are. So really, the way TIDs work is you're really, drawing the boundaries around an area and putting in this document all of the potential. What if, what can, what could, it goes in there. And then as each development agreement comes across, that comes to you all. Each large infrastructure purchase comes to you all. But if it's not in that plan, we would have to go back and amend the plan and go to joint review board and just go through a bunch of administrative work when we could just do our best to get it right from the get-go. But short answer is no committal to any of those infrastructure projects that you've seen. Other questions?
Just a comment, Mayor.
Go ahead.
Given the fact that TID 8 exists almost solely in my district, not completely, but mostly, I agree we do need to have this to improve our downtown area. But I would caution Alderman Ritten's, it almost seems fanboying, and pardon the term, it's not meant to be too derogatory, but the point is, we're fawning over new investments to the downtown area, specifically along the Main Street corridor. But the impression I'm getting from businesses in the downtown area outside of specifically on Main Street or directly tied to Main Street is it feels like they're getting left behind and ignored. So I think as a body, we should be more intentional about encouraging and supporting those community businesses that are already established and bringing businesses in, not simply focusing on bringing businesses in and ignoring the ones that are already here and have been for a while.
So, and I'll come to you in just a moment.
I support moving forward with this. I just want to make sure that we're projecting to the community that we're supporting the businesses that are here and not ignoring them. Because the vibe I'm getting and the conversations I've had recently is that the business owners that are small, that don't have corporate ties or franchise ties outside of the community, that aren't on the Main Street corridor, they feel like they're being ignored. And that's one thing, if we want to truly build this community to be somewhere people want to come and stay, we have to make sure that's not how they feel as small business owners.
Yeah, and I appreciate that point. Just today, we had our first day with our Strategic Initiatives and Development Coordinator, Alex Alon. And Alex, I kind of said to him, priority 1 is the town square and the development behind it. Priority 1B, if you will, is business retention. We want to make sure that the businesses in our community have the tools and the resources and the knowledge that they need to be successful. And then obviously, number 2 is attraction. So I hear your point, Mr. Schmidt, and I've shared that with our new development coordinator as well. Mr. Ritten.
Yes.
Can I add to that real quick, Mayor?
Yes, go ahead, Scott. Sorry.
In the project plan for TID 8, we've made allowances to authorize spending on businesses within a half mile of the district. So if there are businesses in the downtown area that are not within this specific boundary, but within a half mile of it, to the extent that there's funds available within the district, they are eligible to receive some assistance. And we did the same thing with TID 5 about 4 or 5 years ago, and the RDA has extended some facade and building improvement grants to businesses along Main Street and in the greater downtown that are not in TID 5, but are able to use some TID 5 benefits to assist them. So we have that allowance also in the TID8 project plan.
Mr. Ritten?
Thank you. I just wanted to add my comment, and for Mr. Schmidt's benefit, the businesses on Main Street have a couple of different resources currently offered by city and city groups and programs, one of which is the Redevelopment Authority, RDA. We have a revolving loan program that anyone in the city, any business is able to use, and we have several of those loans out and in use, specifically on Main Street for facade projects and such. The Main Street program also helps everything downtown Main Street, and there's other civic groups too that further help downtown businesses. So we have lots of resources available for those types of businesses.
Other questions or comments?
Alder Pasher, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right. Just a quick question. I'm in support of this. I concur with all the positive comments about what this is going to do for our community. One thing I didn't notice in all the material, what is our commitment as far as periodic updates? You know, what is it in terms of monitoring the TID and being able to assess its success or its ongoing viability? What can we expect in terms of ongoing updates?
Scott, do you have an answer? Otherwise, I was going to say we provide, you'll see it in our annual budget process. And then there's also, is there like an annual summary? I'm looking at you, Alyssa.
Yes.
That's from the auditors?
Joint Review Board meets annually and reviews the TID report,
Okay.
and that's publicly available. Share that with the council as well.
So the Joint Review Board, Mr. Pash, meets annually and reviews the TID summaries. And then we also will have, we talk TID budgets during the budget meetings as well. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and for the benefit of the council, I'm just thinking from a community-wide standpoint, I really want to encourage transparency for the benefit of the community so they can see the value and how positive this would be. I mean, like you said, it is public, which is not here, but if there's any, just making sure we emphasize that we want to be transparent.
Is it just coming out of the projector? These are the days of our lives, you guys. Scott, did you have anything to add to that one?
Was it me? I'm sorry.
No, it's not you this time.
No, you covered it.
Okay. So this is what I'll do, Jordan. I'm going to switch speaker to the Cando. It'll be loud, but we'll go with it.
Sounds good.
All right. Let me know if that doesn't work for you on the feed. Any other questions? Mr. Ritten.
Mayor, I'd like to make one amendment to this resolution. There was a mistake in the verbiage, so I'll make a motion to amend the project plan, Appendix A, to be amended to remove the words "currently vacant" from additional notes for map ID 15, because it is not vacant.
Okay. Thank you. Is there a second to that?
I'll second.
Can I remove the words currently vacant from,
Map ID number 15.
Right.
thank you.
You're welcome. Motion by Ritten, second by Wendt. So this is mainly a housekeeping item. We made this amendment at Plan Commission as well. I'm going to take a vote just on the amendment, and then we'll come back to the TID plan. Okay? Are you fine with just a voice vote on that? I assume so. Okay, so I'm going to be taking a vote just on the amendment, and this is just a housekeeping item to adjust Appendix A to remove the words currently vacant from map ID number 15. It's for the Eliason building, correct?
Yes.
All right, all those in favor of that amendment, please say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Okay, that carries. So now we're back to the full TID plan. Do you have anything, any other questions or comments?
This is Alderman Mitten. I would make a motion to approve Exhibit 9189 as amended.
Thank you. Motion by Ritten, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Wendt. Any additional commentary?
We had a motion.
Oh,
For
that's-
the original.
Thank you. As we were saying that, I'm like, I think we already did that. So we had a motion to get it to the floor, correct?
We did.
Thank you. So we already had one, a motion to approve. I think
It was went written.
you may have been a part of that,
Okay.
which is good. So any other discussion? That's my fault. I should have called a vote instead. All right, let's take a vote. Elissa?
Went,
Aye.
Britton,
Aye.
Bartz,
Yes.
Holthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmid,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Kilps,
Aye.
Pash,
Aye.
Awesome. Thank you guys very much. Thank you, Scott and Ben. I appreciate your time. All right, let's go to Exhibit 9190. This is a resolution to purchase 31 cubic yards of automated arm, a 31 cubic yard automated arm refuse truck. This is here from Alderman Pash and Public Works.
Wetzel move.
Thank you. Motion by Wetzel,
Second, thanks.
second by Bartz. Any additional comments or questions? Elissa?
Wetzel,
Aye.
Kilps,
Aye.
Pash,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Britton,
Aye.
Bartz,
Aye.
Holthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmid,
Aye.
All right. Before I go to the next item, just to bring awareness to those in the room, the remaining items on our agenda are primarily purchases related to our annual street projects. And then we have one item that pertains to Gypsy Road and public comment. So, hey, stick around if you want to, but I just wanted awareness for those of you sitting in the room. The rest is purchasing things for annual streets. So, okay. All right, let's go then to Exhibit 9191. This is a resolution to award the 2021 seal coating, routing, and crack sealing contract number 2-21. This is here from Alderman Pash and Public Works.
This is Pash, I'll move.
Thank you. Motion by Pash, second by Wetzel. Any questions on this one? All right, Elissa?
Pash,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Britton,
Aye.
Bartz,
Aye.
Holthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmid,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Kilps,
Aye.
All right, next is Exhibit 9192. This is a resolution to approve the storm and sanitary sewer castings for 2021. This is here from Alderman Pash and Public Works.
Schmidt, I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Motion by Schmid. Second by Wetzel. Any questions or comments? All right, Elissa.
Schmid,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Kilps,
Aye.
Pash,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Britton,
Aye.
Bartz,
Aye.
Holthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
All right, next is Exhibit 9193. This is a resolution to purchase the storm sewer concrete structures and supplies. This is here from Alderman Pash and Public Works.
Motion to
Schmidt,
approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll take a motion by Schmid, a second by Wendt. It's easier to get seconds in the room, so I can make eye contact. So, any questions on this one? Elissa?
Schmid,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Kilps,
Aye.
Pash,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Britton,
Aye.
Bartz,
Aye.
Holthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
All right, next is Exhibit 9194. This is a resolution to revise the stormwater utility erosion control and stormwater permit fee schedule. This is here from Alderman Pash and Public Works.
I'll make a motion to approve Exhibit
Pash, I'll move to approve.
9194.
I'm going to take a motion by Pash and a second by Written. Comments or questions?
Just to clarify, for the fee schedule, is this a monthly fee while a property's under construction?
I believe, Maureen, are you still there?
It's
I am. Hello.
Did you hear Mr. Schmidt's question?
I believe it was a clarification of the fee for the erosion control inspection.
Yes, if it was a monthly fee.
What this is,
Sorry, go ahead.
it is a per erosion control inspection fee. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources issues an MS4 permit to the city, and the MS4 permit has a new inspection frequency that the city has to follow for open construction sites. So there is the potential for additional erosion control inspections if the site is not following the erosion control plan. And because this means more frequent inspections, we felt it was best to have a per inspection fee. The way we set up the structure was to assume compliance with their erosion control throughout their project. And we would ask the permit holder to tell us how long the project would be open. So if the project will be open, for example, from May until October, then yes, it would equal out to be in monthly fee. However, if there are additional inspections needed throughout the project, then there would be additional charges later on.
Thank you.
Okay, so long and short, the DNR is driving the train on this one.
Yes.
There.
Yes, Mr. Schmidt. Any other questions or comments? Alyssa?
Cash,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Written,
Aye.
Bartz,
Aye.
Holthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmid,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Kilps.
Aye.
All right, next is Exhibit 9195. This is a resolution to award the 2021 CIPP contract. This is from Alderman Pash and Public Works.
Caller.
Not everybody at once, please.
I'll motion.
By Wetzel.
I'll second that.
Second by Written. Anyone have questions on this one? Alyssa?
Wetzel,
Aye.
Kilps,
Aye.
Cash,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Written,
Aye.
Bartz,
Aye.
Holthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmid,
Aye.
All right, thank you. Last three. Next is Exhibit 9196. This is a resolution to authorize the submittal of the 2020 Annual Stormwater Report. This is here from Alderman Pash and Public Works.
Yeah, all approved, motion approved.
Motion by Schmid,
Second that.
second by Written. We're losing steam, you guys. Last three. Any questions on this one? Are you fine with the, okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Next then is Exhibit 9197. This is a resolution for the wastewater collection pump replacement at the Country Club Lift Station. This is here from Alderman Pash and Public Works.
Schmid, motion to approve.
Motion by Schmidt,
Wagner, second.
second by Wagner. Any questions or comments? All right, Alyssa?
Schmid,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Kilps,
Aye.
Cash,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Written,
Aye.
Bartz,
Aye.
Holthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
All right, and then our last one then is Exhibit 9198, and this is a resolution to enter into the full and final settlement agreement and release of all claims regarding Gypsy Road. This is here from Alderman Pash and Public Works.
This is Pash, I'll move to approve.
Motion by Pash.
Second.
Second by Written. Anyone have any questions on this one? Comments?
Just curious, is this,
Outstanding legal liability?
One, was your question
go
similar?
ahead, go ahead.
Okay. Rose?
I kind of missed because it was talking over.
It was,
Were you asking what this is?
Ask-
Alderperson Schmidt?
Yes. is an outstanding legal obligation?
Sort of. There was a dispute on the maintenance of Gypsy Road. We, several years ago, the city entered, none of us actually here, entered into this agreement with the town of Watertown to maintain Gypsy Road, snowplow, repair, patching, all those sorts of things. And we're basically saying, town, take your road back. However, there was some disagreement between the town and the city as to the level of repair or disrepair the road was in when we took it over. So in keeping with, I suppose, the premise of good neighbors, and also to eliminate any ongoing disputes, the city has agreed to reimburse the town the amount of $15,000 to their contractor if they do so hire one specifically for repairs to Gypsy Road.
Mr. Wetzel, did you?
Does that answer your question?
So the payout to them essentially is if they hire a contractor, the money will be set aside for them, or are we just giving them and they use it if they want to or not?
Well, we can't give them a check. No, we cannot do that. We have to reimburse a contractor because we're using budgeted annual streets amounts. So,
Okay.
so it's only a reimbursement.
Only if they actually fix it, otherwise they don't get anything.
Correct.
And specific only to Gypsy Road, yes.
Okay, so there are some strings attached to this.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Did you have any?
I just had a question. I don't think it matters. I just noticed tonight the town clerk is Alderperson Wendt's brother. I don't know, it's James Wendt.
No.
No conflict of interest or anything. I
Nope.
just noticed that. Okay.
Any other questions? I don't mind a little levity. Any other questions or comments? All right, go ahead, Elissa.
Cash,
Aye.
Wendt,
Aye.
Britton,
Aye.
Barth,
Aye.
Holthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Kilps.
Aye.
All right, next is comments and suggestions from citizens present. I see no one on that isn't on the council or staff, so with that, I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Motion by
Second
Britton, second by Wagner.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody?
Aye.
All right, anyone opposed? We are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Mayor.